Okay, so we are on to standard 10. Hard to believe this is the last meeting of the standards. So school improvement. Let's look at guided question number one. How does an effective leader use methods of continuous improvement to achieve the vision, fulfill the mission, and promote the core values of the school? So, our mission and vision is definitely tied to continuous growth, wellness, our school-wide learning outcomes, and kind of a continuous reflection and feedback cycle. So let's go through. So one of the things that I feel like we do a pretty good job at our school is making sure that our staff is well versed in the ways that we are to maintain our professional relationships with our community and with our stakeholders. And we do a good job of making sure everybody is up to where they need to be with safeguarding. We have quite a few safeguarding leaders on campus. I hope to do that training next year as well. So that's an opportunity for growth there. We do check on the well-being of our students. I feel like we're doing a much better job lately, and that is really great. We're doing it again today, where we do our well-being surveys, and the kids actually know it. They understand it. There's a very quiet pause in our advisories during that time period, so that's really good to see. Our advisory program has really embraced the school-wide learning outcomes. It's becoming part of our vernacular at school. We talk about it quite a bit. We assess our school-wide learning outcomes, and we're starting to really even bring that about around in our development for our our service learning program, and that is also exciting. And then we get our feedback and we get our you our continuous improvement in a lot of ways. Some of it is by surveying different members of the cycle of leadership and staff and teachers and students and stakeholders. We do get feedback there, but we also get feedback from our accreditation cycles. And WASC comes next year for another visit, and we continue to move forward with our our strategic plan, which was put in place in a lot based on our uh, our analysis and our return from the most recent WASC visit. How does an effective leader develop technically appropriate systems of data collection, management, analysis, and use, connecting as needed to the district office and external partners for support and planning, implementation, monitoring, feedback, and evaluation? Um, well, we do look at WASC, and we do take that feedback and analysis to heart. It shows us who we are versus who we say we are, and that is very, very important to know. We also use data quite a bit, and we are continuing our growth in using data in the way that we improve and analyze and adjust our teachings and our assessment practices, which is a focus for next year, is how we assess. And then our data protocols are very important and hopefully will become more of a standard practice at our school as we continue to expand our use of data. How do effective leaders develop and manage relationships with feeder and connecting schools for enrollment management, curricular, and instructional articulation? Well, our vertical alignment is a focus at our school, and we have been talking about it, and we will continue to move forward with that. One of the things we did on our program is in Module 38, we did a brainstorming session of how we collaborate with our different schools and how we collaborate with our stakeholders. And that was a really interesting and informative exercise. And, our um, when we moved and kind of rolled out our new advisory program and our school-wide learning outcomes, we promoted sustainable development, and we looked at um, kind of bringing together our elementary schools and our secondary schools. But if you would, Mr. Burton, can you just kind of talk about how could I better answer this question? Because I'm not really sure how you, in your leadership meetings and behind closed doors, how you manage that curricular and structural relationship between the upper schools and the lower schools.
So the CRC, which generally is K through 12, is normally how that's done. This year, because both divisions were in different places, we decided to go divisionally with the CRC to basically do a self-study to stop and go, let's see exactly where we are as a
Hmm.
school, and let's clean house, let's make sure we have everything in place. But traditionally, the curriculum review cycle is K through 12. And so it does look at those articulations between the connecting schools. The MAC team would probably be the piece that's missing because sometimes the majority of our kids are coming from outside of our bilingual or our elementary school, so they're moving up.
Hmm.
But the majority of our students are coming from the Chinese public school system,
Okay.
and so for that reason, educating them um, on who we are and what our program is about is also a big piece of that. And so all of the different open days that they do once a month to invite the community in to
Hmm.
say, this is who we are, this is what we do, really is really managing those relationships more. We all kind of know on our campus what we do. It's really those people that are coming from outside our campus. I mean, that's where the MAC team actually does a lot of this for us.
Okay. And they're actually in this next question. How did the leader implement priorities of the school improvement plan? And how was the implementation presented to key stakeholders within and outside the school to communicate changes and gather feedback? And you mentioned the MAC office, and yeah, I didn't even think, I was very myopic in my thinking that our feeder schools are the schools that are on our campus, but you pointed out that our feeder schools come from the outside, and the MAC office does a very good job. The website is very easy to follow, very informative, and it really, I would say the best thing about our MAC office is if you contact them, they will not only answer your question, but they will put you in contact with all the people that you need to, that will have all the best answers for you, and that's really nice to see. Also, module 38 and 39, we talked quite a bit, and you and I have talked quite a bit about, the new staff orientation plan is part of the school improvement plan, where I took parts of the strategic plan and implemented some of the things that, from my collection and my feedback. Our school-wide learning outcomes is a big part of our strategic plan, and then, of course, our data to inform and influence decision making. So these are all the different areas that we have presented to stakeholders one way or another. Sometimes they get their information through the MAC office. Sometimes they get it through communication directly from the school. Sometimes they get it, um, when we unroll or roll out programs the way that we have with our school-wide learning outcomes. So we do a pretty good job of communicating. I would really challenge the stakeholders in our community to be able to, find different ways or better ways that we can communicate. I'm sure that there is a process where we reevaluate our communication practices, but we do a pretty good job. Any closing comments as we close out on?
I would say talking about Power School would be
Hmm?
important because a lot is shared in Power School. Um, and so even parents can look at students' graduation plans, students can see their graduation
Hmm.
plans in Power School, as well as all of the data. Um, so there's just a lot that's embedded in Power School that allows parents to really have access to the standards, to know what we actually teach, and what our vision and mission really is. Like
Hmm.
they can see that in Power School, documentation that they have to sign. Um, uh, we really use Power School a lot for a lot of different things, and even the course catalog, so they can access what are the courses that
Hmm.
students can take. So a lot of um, the information, even for school improvement, is embedded in Power School or our website, where they have access to all of that information.
Okay, thank you. I will definitely add that in here. I did not know that they could actually access the course catalog. That's super cool. I didn't even know that. All right, well, thank you for everything.